So, what is this workshop all about? So, this workshop is not about dazzling you with information about 500 different ways in which AI can be used in the context of your research. No, we know that there are lots of workshops which work like that, but that is not what we aim to do. Our aim is to enable you to experience for yourself how AI and AI related tools can do certain things in the context of research. Our aim is so that you can figure out whether those things are working in the context of your own subject or not, and then our aim is that by the time you leave this place you have sufficient information and sufficient ability such that wherever you want to use AI in the context of your research, you should be able to do so. So, how is the workshop going to achieve this? So, these are the various things that we are going to do. So, on day 1, we will start by showing you some of the research related AI based tools that me and my group have been using for the last 1.5 years and with different degrees of success. So, again we are not going to just demonstrate the whole thing to you, we are also going to show you in our experience what are the things that have worked out and what are the things that have not worked out. The lectures are going to be relatively short, you are going to spend much of the time experiencing for yourself how the tools are working. Then once this is done, we are going to shift our attention towards the models, the large language models. Now, whenever we talk about large language models or LLMs, typically we think about some of the big names, ChatGPT, Claude or Gemini and so on. With very good reasons, these are extremely capable things, but turns out that they are not the only ones that are out there. So, for example, if you look at Hugging Face, there are over 2 million models of different AI models on Hugging Face. If you look at OpenRouter, which actually allows you to run these models in cloud in exchange of money, you find some 560 plus models on OpenRouter as of this date. Now, the point is that all these models have their own strengths and their own weaknesses. Of course, OpenAI's models, ChatGPT, Claude, Grok, Gemini, these are extremely capable models, but these are generic models. And being generic models, some things they do well, some things they do not do that well, and in certain specific use cases, there are actually other models which do a far better job than any one of these. Therefore, that is one problem. The other problem is that if you are going to use these models, in many cases they do have free tiers, but the free tiers are severely restricted. You cannot either use the high end models, or if you can use the high end models, then you can use them very little. So, the only way for you to use them properly is to take subscriptions, but then the question is how many such subscriptions can you take? As I just now told you, different models shine in different things, and therefore, you are going to be needed to take 5, 6, 8 such subscriptions, which obviously is not going to work out economically. So, the answer to both these problems in terms of subscription cost as well as in terms of having a versatile toolbox of models available to you, the answer to both these questions lies in something known as APIs. So, what you need to do is to create a system, install a system on your own laptop such that you are able to access these various models at a very cheap cost and at a rate at which you will be able to use them. And the next thing that we are going to do is to help you install such a system on your computer. It is not very difficult, but there are certain things that needs to be taken care of, and we are explicitly going to sit down and help you, each one of you, have such a system. Then once such a system is in your hand, then we are going to teach you two things. The first thing is that how exactly do you talk to a LLM? So, most of you would have heard this term called prompt engineering. So, prompt engineering essentially is crafting your instructions to a LLM in such a way that you get the desired output. This is a subject. There are lots and lots of things that one can do about it, but we are going to teach you some of the simplest and yet the most effective things in the context of our research, such that you are able to get a much better output from these LLMs. And then that is one part of the game. You can also tweak some of the LLM parameters at the user end in order to get your desired outputs. So, you can instruct the LLM to be more adventurous versus you can instruct it to be more conservative. And of course, whether you want the LLM to come up with new ideas versus whether you want the LLM to be very critical and be very true to the subject matter, all these things can be tuned by tuning all these parameters, and that is the next thing that we are going to talk about. So, how you can make what are known as research assistants so that you can take care of all these problems on a long term basis. Once this is done, again we are going to help you set up all these things. Then the third thing that we are going to show you will be making simple codes, simple programs using LLMs, the so called vibe coding. Now, our aim is not to make coders out of you. No, most of you who are into coding, you should learn how to code using AI backed software separately. But it is our experience that if you know some basic amount of vibe coding, then that allows you to get some things in the context of your own research done in a nice way, which otherwise would have completely been inaccessible to you. So, that is what we are going to show you, how to make some very simple user friendly apps using LLMs and vibe coding. And even if you fail, does not matter, whatever apps we have made, we are going to share those with you. Once all this is done, we should be somewhere around the later half of day 3 by this time. Then we are going to divide you into small groups, and then we are going to challenge you with a small project. Okay. The whole idea is to put together whatever you have learned over the last 2.5 days and see whether you are able to get a workflow for yourself. Okay. This is not, I am not talking about a automation workflow like N8N or anything, but a research workflow wherein you are able to use your understanding of these various tools to perform some real research work over a very short amount of time. So, just to see whether everything has come together or not. So, this is the overall plan, and as you can understand, it is going to be a lot of work. It is going to be intensive. You have to spend a lot of time and mental energy in getting all these things done. So, obviously, many of you are probably asking the question that should I really get into it? Is AI really that important, and can I live without AI, and so on? It is a very valid question, and since I have lived with AI for some time, I can give you my version of the answer. And my version of the answer is that we have been doing research before AI came in, and therefore, even if we choose not to use a single AI related tool, we should be able to continue doing our research. Okay. However, if we adopt AI tools, then in certain contexts we are going to be able to do certain things which were not possible to do before. That is going to be the advantage, and at the same time there is going to be some trade offs, some disadvantages, in the sense that there are certain things about which earlier we did not really pay too much attention, but now we will have to pay some good amount of attention. So, just to give you an analogy, this is somewhat like having net banking or UPI payment turned on. All of us know that net banking or UPI payment, they have some amount of security risk associated with them. So, until and unless you are very careful about handling your PIN or about cyber security, there is always a chance that you might be duped by fraudsters, and when that happens, you might end up losing all your money. We regularly see reports of such things happening in the newspaper. Given this, I know that there are many people who have actually decided that they will not use net banking, they will not use UPI, they will use cash in their life. And frankly speaking, these people are doing absolutely fine. They are able to sustain and things are fine, it is working. But there are certain things that these people are unable to do. For example, they are if they have to pay bills, they have to physically go there, or they have to give the money to somebody else who will then pay on their behalf. They will not be able to pay their bills online sitting on their computer. Similarly, in terms of paying taxes, when they have to pay taxes, they will again have to do something physical in order to get their taxes paid. So, it is exactly like that in the context of AI. If you use AI, you will be able to do certain things, but if you are not careful, then it is going to come back to bite you, and therefore, your care level, your vigilance level along certain axes has to go up. That is about it. Now, whether you decide to come for this workshop or you do not decide to come for this workshop, that is entirely up to you. This workshop is not going to make you into a super specialist in your own area, absolutely not. Your science, your understanding of your area will be what it is. What this workshop will do is, it will give you certain tools and it will give you certain different ways of doing science, some of which might appeal to you, in which case you might decide that okay, this is for me, let us go for it. Some of which you might think that this is not my style, I am not going to go for it. That is also perfectly fine. However, if you are curious about knowing what AI can do for you, or if you have already taken a decision that you want to use AI in your research, but either you are not able to figure out where to start, or you are not able to move past the various technical barriers that are there, at least at the very initial level, then come for this workshop. That is what those are the people for which this workshop is supposed to be. Thank you.